My name is Detox. We're here at the, all right, what's it called again? I'm sorry. Closed, club closed. I was going to say case closed, but that's comedy. All right, here we go. My name is Detox, and we're here at Club Closed at the Great Northern in San Francisco. Give it up for Warhol Kaufman.
Welcome to Club Closed. It's weird being black in America. Like, we don't get invited to auctions anymore. Used to get all the invites. I like white people because white people know everything except how racist they are. The good thing about white supremacists is at least they're white. I'm glad Joe Biden is winning in his state of delusion. I used to live in Portland. They found a human head in the recycling plant outside my house, which is messed up because that's compostable. I was living in Portland. Someone wrote nigger on the fence across from my door. I was like, I'm home. I went to the mall the other day. I went to Costco. The main difference between Costco and a refugee camp is the savings. There's more savings. Texas is number 1 in hot car infant death. I think it's ironic that Trump's son is barren when we all wish his mother was. People say Negroes can't swim, but my great uncle used to go swimming all the time before he drowned. They could not get him out of the river. Actually, Negroes can't swim is just the first part of the sign on the whites-only pool. Negroes can't swim in this pool. Go drown in the river. If you believe we've been to the moon, then you accept that we only let white men on the moon. So that's on you now. That's your bad now. I'm really inspired by the civil rights movement. At one point, I realized my grandmother was in D.C. for the entire civil rights movement. Next time I saw her, I had to ask, Grandma, what was it like? What was it like? You were there for the March on Washington. You were there for the I Have a Dream speech. What was it like? And she said, oh, your grandfather wasn't interested in all that. I just realized I should stop calling my brother a motherfucker. I'm pretty sure Nickelodeon is responsible for my bukkake fetish. You can't do that on television. I like to masturbate off of the balcony at my apartment. My downstairs neighbors think I have a candle. People say pulling out doesn't work. but actually pulling out the fetus is 100% effective. Everything's been so crazy with COVID, at first there was this panic about toilet paper, but I wasn't worried because I don't even need toilet paper. I just use prayer. You guys like D&D? Yeah, drinking and driving is cool. Everyone's looking healthy. I'm the oldest one in my family without kids. And I'm proud, I tried really hard. Like, I put in the wrong places and everything. I remember I did this show in Idaho, in Boise. This woman came up to me after. She was like, "Oh my God, I love your hair. Can I touch it?" I said, "I love your boobs. Can I touch them?" And afterwards, I told my wife, and she understood. She was like, "Oh yeah, of course you had to touch them for comedy." She left me very soon after, very soon. Do Nazis like World War II films? Or does knowing the ending make it less fun? Like, I was reading the news, and in the news they're playing everyone's favorite game right now. They're playing in the news. And I like to play, I'm game. So I see over and over in the news, it's like, oh, is this a lynching or a suicide? Lynching or suicide? It's like, first of all, black people do not commit suicide by hanging. We just don't, that's not our style. Plus, we already have a method of suicide, as you may know. It's called assassination. That is the black suicide. So I don't really understand. I believe in the Second Amendment. I believe in the First Amendment, but they really go well together. I'll tell you what I mean. So I was at the border of Canada, and it was cold. It was like December or something. I'm standing outside the car because they wanted to search our car. We were on tour. So I get out of the car, and I had this ski mask, and I put it on because I was cold. So then this Border Patrol cop, he's like, "Take off your mask." He's like, "You guys are free to go, but take off your mask." I'm like, "Hey, man, it's cold." He's like, "Take off your mask." So I'm like, "I'm going to go inside." So I start walking inside, and he pulls his gun. He's like, "Take off your mask. I will shoot you." So I kept walking really slowly, and I crossed the barrier, and then I took it off. What I'm saying, I love Canada. I love Canada so much. When I was living in Portland, I used to work at this bar. I won't say the name, but it had Shanghai in the name and Tunnel, both, or one of them. Either Shanghai or Tunnel. You get the idea. I won't say the name. But I used to work at the bar. I would work the door. They love that in Oregon. They love a black man telling them if they can do anything or not. It's just like it's like the Oregonian dream. It's like, we didn't kill all these natives, so I could answer to all right. So I'm working the door. This guy comes in. He's too drunk. He shows me a military ID. I'm like, sorry, I can't let you in. He's like, "You don't have any respect for the military or anybody." I was like, "Sir, that is true, but irrelevant. I can't let you in." I was working one time. This woman tried to come in. She tried to get in. She's like, "I just need to use the bathroom." I'm like, "I'm sorry, I can't let you in. That's the rule. You could have just, act like you're a customer. We'll see what happens." So then she leaves, and this guy comes up later. She's like, "You don't know who that is? That was a porn star. She's a porn star." I'm like, how does that help me in my situation? So one time I was working, and these two girls came up. One of them was pretty, and one of them was kind of sober. So the pretty one's like, please. And the kind of sober one's like, can you help my friend? My friend has to use the bathroom. The friend was like, please. I'm like, I'm sorry. I wish I could. You seem very nice. I can't let you in. But, I've heard that people, it's getting dark. I heard that people find places in the world, in the city. I'm sure you could find a place. So this girl is so drunk. She took 6 steps to the edge of the patio and squats down and just starts peeing on my patio. I have to clean this patio. So I'm like, fuck, right? She starts grabbing one of the tables and it's shaking. She grabs a potted plant. And I'm like, I don't want to have to wash urine off of this furniture at the end of my shift. So I steady the table, I steady the plant, and then she falls in her own urine. So now I'm standing in front of her, and I help her up. She's looking at me. I'm looking at her. And we're both trying to figure out which one of us is going to pull her panties up. So what I'm saying is we got to raise the minimum wage. We have to raise the minimum wage. I remember on Father's Day a couple years ago, my sister was bragging on Facebook, She's like, I got the best dad in the world. I was like, that's great, but you could share?
Hello everyone, my name is Rick Martinez. I'm a boat captain, a chef, and a hairstylist. Today, I'm working with my good friend Edna as she shares with you her stance on many issues we are dealing with today.
Hi, I'm Edna Mira Raia, and today I'm mourning the loss of forest life as a result of the tragic fires in California, Oregon, and Colorado. As many thousands of people were affected, millions of animals and trees have also lost their lives. In solidarity with the trees and to conserve water, today I am shedding my own branches. I hope you'll consider shedding yours too. Hashtag Shed Your Branches 2020.
My name is Detox, and we're at Club Closed at the Great Northern. Next up, Edna Mira Raia, the sit-down comic.
Hi, I'm Edna. I'm not the Parkland High School teenager, all grown up and ready to fuck. She's still a teenager, you sickos. So I shaved my head to conserve water and to mourn the forests of California since we cannot have a statewide funeral. Speaking of funerals, who here has been to a funeral that's virtual? Show of hands? Wow, everybody's dead but me. Okay, well, I have, and one thing that I have found that is really cool about virtual funerals is that you can actually fart and nobody can hear or smell you. And I don't think that was the original intention of the Zoom mute button, but I think it's pretty nifty. So the pandemic is weird. Everything is so still. I'm starting to see a side of San Francisco that I haven't seen since the Lululemon takeover of 2013. I've been here so long that I remember Hayes Valley used to be a place that used to go and score drugs. Not me, but my friends, of course. And how quickly it turned into a place where shop owners are calling the cops on you for window shopping. They can't buy anything because they can't afford it, see? I used to live on Haight and Masonic, and I lived right on the corner, and I threw a big graduation party for my college graduation, and 200 people showed up. And half of them were strangers, and nobody stole anything. It was amazing. I mean, God, those were the good old days. That was a real neighborhood. And then when it got gentrified, I noticed right away, I would be planting a tree in the front of the house, and a mother with a giant SUV stroller would walk by and scowl at me for taking over the sidewalk, and my inner chola would come out bitch, don't you look at me like that. I'll shove this tree up your ass. You're the reason that we have to plant all these trees because your family's sucking up all the oxygen, bitch. Of course, I would never do that. I don't plant trees. Having grown up in America, I've been trying to get in touch with my roots. So I've been thinking about my life as it were in Mexico versus in America, because the cultures are so different, you know. Mexicans eat to enjoy life, and they play music while they eat. It's really fun. It's lively, you know. And American eating is kind of like an assembly line, like a cattle call, and it's eerily quiet. There's no real joy in it, you know. In Mexico, everything calls for a celebration, a party. And here, everything calls for an 8 a.m. meeting. Even the crime is different. In Mexico, they still have crimes of passion. Here, crime is very methodical, if you've noticed. I watch a lot of crime stories, so let me give you an example. In Mexico, you don't stop loving your wife, you just start hating her. But you know that you hate her because you still love her. And so when you get into an argument and you kill her on accident or on purpose, you like run into the streets and you go, I killed her, I did it. It was a crime of passion. But here, you can't hate your wife because you never loved her. But you stayed too long. So if you ever end up killing her, you have to treat it like your 8 a.m. meeting, right? Like you plan it in your calendar, you prepare all the necessary documents, and then you do the deed and you go on your usual midnight fishing trip, and you come back the next morning to go to your next meeting. And then people start asking, Gerald, where's your wife? And you're like, I don't know, she wasn't at the 8 a.m. meeting. And there's no honor, and even the heinous things that we do in America. I mean, I'm not just going to pick on men this whole set. I will say that women can be just as bad. Like Casey Anthony killed her daughter, buried her, you know, changed her hair color and pretended like nothing ever happened. And what she did was awful. There's no question about that. But I'm an earth activist first, and I have to give her props because she did try to compost, so I have to give her some props for that at least. And it must have been frustrating because composting is very complicated, you know? Like, do you put the bones in or just the meat? And if just the meat, what do you do with the bones? I mean, I'm a good composter, and I don't even know the answers to those questions. But I don't eat meat, and I don't normally kill babies, so. There are a couple of reasons why Casey might have killed her baby. Childbirth is painful. I mean, enough to make you want vengeance, I guess. And who wants to give up dancing? I mean, during the pandemic, we're wanting to kill people just because the clubs are closed and we can't go dancing, right? Imagine if the pandemic lasted 18 years. Now, if God had given Eve a pomegranate instead of an apple on that tree, I think we could have skipped the childbirth pain part. I mean, talk about a forbidden fruit. Have you ever tried to open a pomegranate? That's punishment enough. It's messy, it stains everything, it makes killing a baby look clean. But at least at the end of it, you get to eat the pomegranate, you know? At the end of childbirth, you don't get to eat the baby. But if Casey had, she wouldn't have had to worry about the composting thing.
Oh, man.
Don't high road me. You eat animal babies for breakfast every day, so. Women have had it hard. You can't really blame us for our outbursts. I mean, think of all the stuff that we have to put up with. Body image, bleeding, cramps, catcalling, having to be nice to everybody, being open but not too crazy, getting paid less. That's still not a law. Pretending men are awesome. I'm bisexual. It's been a problem. I've recently gone back to dating women because I've had so many bad experiences with men, mainly in bed. During the pandemic, anyway, this guy, we were fucking, and he had a mask on the whole time, which is great, and we used protection. But then he came on my face, and then he said, "Oh, I've been to a lot of brunches. You should probably get checked." I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" I mean, I called the cops on him. I was so upset. I was like, there is a white man in my house, and he's threatening my pussy, and now he's strangling my cat. Please hurry. And they came, of course, right away, and the cops arrested me. And I was like, oh, I feel so safe now. Thank you, officer. The problem with men is that they say, I'm going to rock your world, and 2 minutes later, they're like, I'm finished, and they're so proud about it. Do you want a gold star? If I'm still wearing makeup after sex, you've done it wrong. I'm sorry. And I have to brag for a second. If my blowjob was too good, that's not my problem. You know, you have to go home and do the work. You go do your own version of Kegels or whatever it is you have to do to last longer if you're gonna be with a girl like me. And please, don't call me baby. Baby is a term of endearment that's earned, okay? It comes with a whole mess of daddy issues. If you're not going to fuck me with abandon or do therapy to repair the damage of not having a father growing up after you splooge on me, then get out of my room or call me something else. But don't call me sis. My ex said at the end that he felt like I was his sister. I was like, how long have you been fucking me like this? This is concerning. I mean, I would never fuck my brother. Unless he looked more like my dad, you know? The only guys I would fuck right now are Gavin Newsom, Dr. Fauci, and Busta Rhymes, for obvious reasons. I mean, Gavin Newsom is fixing all of my daddy issues. Dr. Fauci is saving my life, literally. And Busta Rhymes, I mean, can you imagine what that cunnilingus is like? Oh, my God. I'm getting wet right now just thinking about it. Do you think he raps when he goes down there? Rap-lingus. Oh my God, amazing. It's too bad he's a cis male. As soon as he turns trans, though, I am so proposing. I'm all over that. But all of those guys are pretty unrealistic options for me, so I've, like I said, returned to women. Because we really understand each other, I feel. And I definitely have more fun in bed with them. You know when you work on a project for a really long time and then it gets done? And you know how, like, rewarding that feels? That is what earning a girl orgasm is like. And I know the guys out there don't know this, but when a girl comes, the faces she makes, oh my God, it's incredible. I mean, you thought she was hot in her selfie pics. You have never seen an open duck lip face like this. I'm not talking about her face. But women are so easy to read, you know, I think. I don't know how guys get it wrong all the time. I mean, if they say that nothing is wrong and you have an inkling that something is wrong, something is wrong. They just don't want to have to explain it to you. They're testing your memory to see how good it is. And if you fail that test, they'll only be with you for another 6 years. So yeah, I've been losing a lot of women to dick lately.
This morning I woke up before she did and went into the kitchen to make some coffee and looked out the window while it was brewing. We haven't been communicating too well lately, and I was hoping that maybe this would improve if we could just start the day off on the right foot. I poured her a cup and was just about to wake her, but stopped because I wondered how it would go. It may be one of those mornings that goes like this. Good morning.
Oh.
I brought you some coffee. How'd you sleep?
Horribly. I kept waking up.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did you want to sleep more?
No.
Okay.
You were snoring like a grizzly bear.
I told you you can always push me to the side if I'm doing that.
I didn't want to wake you up.
Okay.
Guess it didn't matter, 'cause you just woke me up.
It may also be one of those mornings that goes like this. Good morning.
Hey. Oh my god, is that the time?
Yeah, I brought you some coffee.
I gotta get out of here.
Why? What's going on?
I have to get to the laundromat.
Okay. Any particular reason why it's an emergency?
If I get there late, it gets crowded, and I'll have to wait to get a dryer.
Does it really get that bad?
Last week I had to wait 10 minutes for one to free up.
Your coffee's getting cold.
Sorry, no time. Call me later.
Oh. Okay. Or it may be one of those mornings where trying to make plans totally confuses the hell out of me.
Maybe we could go to that horse place.
What?
That horse place.
What on earth is the horse place?
Come on, we went there before.
I don't know what you're talking about.
That place with the horse.
Do you know the name of it to jog my memory?
I don't know the name. It's just the horse place.
When were we there?
I don't remember.
What did we do there?
You forget everything.
I'm sorry, I'm just trying to figure out what you mean.
You're always going, duh, I don't know, I don't remember that.
Well, what did we do there?
We went there and drank tea.
Oh, the tea place.
Yeah.
That sells horse riding supplies.
Yeah.
Well, technically, that's actually called a saddler.
That's what I said, the horse place.
But it could also just as easily be one of those days that I spoil everything by being too high-strung and paranoid. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go. Hang on a second. I should make sure that I actually lock the door. It's fine. Let's go. I know that I got the lock, but I should also check the deadbolt. All is well. We can go now. I should check to make 100% sure that I unplug the coffee maker. And so on. In the end, I figured the best scenario available was for me to just not do anything. So I sat down in my chair across the room and just kind of watched her sleep. I figure she'll wake up eventually, we'll see how it goes, and I'll let the chips fall where they may.
Hello, welcome to Club Closed. Between my two friends here, I'm a dendrophiliac. My name is Warhol Kaufman, and I'm here with the CEO of Potatoes Mash Comedy. Edna, how you doing?
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
Oh my God, I have so many questions. I don't know if we have time.
We probably don't.
Don't
Ask me anything too hard.
You know what? Real talk. Tell me, it's been a hard time. Quarantine's been difficult, but tell me one experience you've had that contrasted with all the darkness, that gave you some kind of hope, or you felt excited about something in the midst of the chaos.
The Black Lives Matter movement has really uplifted me. It's bittersweet, but it has really opened up my eyes to what is possible and the motivation behind so many people to come out. I know that it took quarantine to get people out, but they did it, finally. It was a long time coming. And just the dedication of, select people coming out every single weekend and protesting has been really amazing, and I've kept it up. And also how many people were calling the police commission meetings for weeks on end, even up until today. Actually, they're calling right now for the POA, police union contract negotiations. So yeah, when I get home, I'm gonna be on that call too. That's been really inspiring. That's given me hope, a small ray of hope in a dark, bleak, sad world. Sick, sad world. Remember that from Daria?
No, I just remember her beautiful hair glasses combo.
Bangs. I miss them.
Da 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 da.
La 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 la.
All right. Well, tell me about a project that's coming up that you're diving into.
I am working on my solo show from before. I had a solo show that premiered at the Exit Theater for the Fringe Festival that I took on tour, and I'm revamping it for a virtual version of it for the Marsh Theater in October. And it's called Altars for My Altars, and it's about all the characters that live in my head, and they're competing all to get on stage, and they all have like really endearing stories, and some of them are pretty tragic, but they're also very funny. And I'm naked in it. And I might be in a film with you.
I heard that.
You did?
I heard a rumor about that.
God, rumors just fly around here.
I want to say, I said this off camera. I really admire the project, like the way that you do Edna in the Bottle. I mean, now under quarantine, I don't exactly know what's going on.
That's my sketch comedy show, Edna in a Bottle.
But could you talk about it a little bit? It's really amazing, I think.
The sketch show?
Yeah.
I was doing, before quarantine started, a monthly series called Edna in a Bottle at Piano Fight Theater. And I was using 3 different actors who would help write a new show, 45-minute show, every month from scratch. We would bring ideas together and work and edit on them. And then we would produce them within 3 weeks and put it on stage for 2 nights. And we would have a guest stand-up comedian every night as well. And we did a virtual Corn screening edition in July that took us 3 months to do because it was all pre-recorded films that we had to edit, and that's a whole new skill base that I didn't have prior. I mean, I did, but not to that level. So yeah, it's been great, and I hope to continue it. I wrote a grant for continuing it next year, so I hope I can continue to do that.
So what was the first show you ever produced, even before Edna in a Bottle? What's the first one you remember producing?
Oh wow, fun. I took a story called The Face by David St. John, who is a professor at USC. I took that story about him going crazy and neurotic about his own self and like seeing himself on screen. I took that story and like broke it into various scenes of his life and put it on stage, and I adapted the story to a play and put it on stage at USF where I went to school, and I directed it, and yeah, it was good.
How many actors?
God, I think like 7 actors.
So the first show you ever produced, you wrote it and directed it.
Yeah.
So is that a theme in
Yes.
the work you do? You tend to be like the engine behind
Yeah.
the project.
I'm a little choo-choo train. I'm constantly doing it. I think a friend of mine recently told me that I'm the busiest person she knows. So
when do you sleep?
between 5:30 a.m. and 1 p.m. every day.
That's good.
I think
like
so.
that.
Well, it's not uninterrupted.
No,
My
no,
cat
yeah.
wakes me up like 4 times in between that time.
I really like working at like 5 a.m., 3 a.m.
That's when I'm most creative. My brain doesn't work until 4 p.m. really.
That's fascinating. So what's your vision for coming out of quarantine? How do you see it going down?
I see relationships taking a nicer turn. I think people will start being normal in the dating world again and taking stuff seriously. I think the Green New Deal may go through because of all of the stuff that we've seen in these, at least on the left side of America. I think it will influence a lot of people. It's nationwide news, so people are calling me from all over the place going, "Are you guys okay?" And I think that's going to influence the election. So I'm hoping that we won't have him in the office, and AOC will, with Biden, push the Green New Deal through, and we will start making the world great again, and trees will grow, and people will have sex, and they'll be able to be poly again, like they love to do, and yeah, we'll all be happy.
So I'm voting AOC 2020. Do you have any tips? And I'm hoping that her relationship is really solid, but if anything happens, I'm ready. So do you have any tips for voting or dating under COVID? Or like me, both together with AOC for
Okay.
president.
On voting, just go. There's mail-in votes now. You can do that. I'm going to actually be working the polls, as adverse to working the poll. As for relationships, I think if you're bored, don't say that you want a relationship. Just say you want to fuck and go on Tinder. Opie, you wanted advice for dating AOC. She's married.
For voting, are they married now? She had a fiance. No, for voting and dating under
that
COVID.
not
Specifically for me getting AOC to be president and the president of my love life. Separate question.
I'm like lost on your question. I'm sorry.
That's okay. We'll do another one. Where'd you get that outfit? That's beautiful.
At a thrift vintage store. And this I got for a long time ago for my tiki job, which I no longer have, but I still have. This is why I buy crop tops, because if I lose a job and I bought a shirt for it, I want to be able to wear it later and not just be like, now I have all these crappy tiki shirts that don't fit me, like oversized boxy tiki shirts. You know what I'm talking about. They're awful.
I'll pretend. So who are your top 3 favorite presidents
How many
of all
questions
time?
is this?
We're wrapping it up.
Okay. Jesus, I got to set my clock back
Oh
to
my God.
Alaska time. Okay, what now?
Top 3 favorite presidents of all time.
Oh, well, I wasn't there for most of it.
listening.
But I would
They
say...
don't have to be American presidents. I don't care.
Oh, all the women.
And that's what's up. Any sign-out words for our club closed presentation? Edna wants you to shave your head. Have a nice day.
Oh, please conserve water and shave your head. This is why.
No more shower sex. Peace.
Hi, welcome to Club Closed, Between Two Ferns edition. I'm here with comedian Warhol Kaufman. How are you today?
Wow. You're going to start with the hard questions, man? That's cold, dude. I was expecting like a puff piece. I'm great. The world's on fire. Everything's cool. The race wars are ongoing. How are you?
I'm great. The world's on fire. There's race wars.
Same book, same page.
I'm curious how you are doing comedy these days and how virtual comedy is playing into your life.
I feel it's like almost like you're trying to get me in trouble. We've been doing these park mics. I haven't actually done a mic in a while, in a few weeks, because I've been working on this film project, which we either have or haven't discussed, depending on whether I know you or not. But I think, honestly, I think that quarantine can be really ideal for comedy in that people really are reckoning, as far as I can tell, with what's happening, and people are looking for a way to frame and process information, and comedy can be really useful for that. I don't believe that Zoom shows are stand-up, but there's all kinds of content that is necessary and relevant. I've been making hip-hop again, so.
That's awesome. Ooh, maybe we can play some on the show sometime.
That seems very possible,
Cool.
yes.
Tell me about your influences.
Mostly vodka, a lot of, all right.
Feel you.
You mean as a comic specifically?
That's what I mean.
That's interesting. I just answered a question on Facebook about define yourself in 5 TV shows. Like if someone wants to understand you, what are 5 TV? I at first kind of dismissed, but I think honestly, like probably Comedy Central. I think for anyone my age who's doing stand-up, Comedy Central is one of the major, not like overtly, like I don't think of it that way, but like having access to stand-up every single day, sometimes like 6 to 9 hours a day during the summer and stuff. When I hit adolescence, that definitely, and they would do like premium blend, so it would be like 15 minutes of one comic and 15 minutes of another comic, and just like a firing line, you know? And I think as a result of that, I was able to for example, like Maria Bamford. I've been watching Maria Bamford
My
for
fave.
over 20 years, you know, like on TV. Basically, she I think had only been doing stand-up for like 5 years when she started being on TV, and I started
Yeah.
seeing her. And so, like, I've had this one-sided sort of, like, journey with her. And I'm actually really, like, I did the Empty Dive special, and that was largely very inspired by partially Maria Bamford, because she did like her living room special. She did a special just for her parents.
Yes.
You know, in her own house. She did like her special
So funny.
where she talks just to her pug for a while. And so that Harlan Williams, I think, also did like a special in the desert where he just was addressing cacti. You know, it was just like tumbleweeds and rodents and stuff.
Cool.
And I really think now you see a lot of people doing that with the quarantine. Like, there's a lot of isolated performances, but I think that it's really interesting when people break form.
Yeah. I actually really enjoy comedy right now because we are actually coming up to the same level that other artists are at or were at before. So,
Tell me, what do you mean by that?
well, Maria Bamford was doing that special in her living room, and then I started filming during quarantine or right before quarantine, like my no shower special, where
Yeah.
I was like inside the life of Edna, and
I like that a lot. I didn't see all of it, but entering that story, the way that and it wasn't, that was Guinevere Q was involved in that too?
my what?
Was Guinevere Q involved in that too? Did I see?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys are great. I loved your set at her show.
But
It was
what I
great.
really am enjoying is that all of the artists right now are able to come up to that same level and do video content and create the same quality of content that even Comedy Central
I
is
hear what you're
producing.
saying.
You know?
And I think there's also like the internet and the new technology lends itself to that. It's a Marxist approach to entertainment where we all have the means of production and we can potentially all do at least a fragment, you know?
Yeah.
I think it's so interesting because, you know, everything's shut down for a while, but I talked to some of the people I'm working with. They really never stopped making films. They just like kept powering through.
Yeah. I mean, things aren't being released, but they're still making content.
Well, that's why I told Alex Power about the feature film. Was like, people are bored. Like, the festivals are shut down. Just put it online. Like,
Yeah.
let people,
Let people watch it. Let people see you. You know? So what is new for you? What's coming up? You talked about the film.
Well, oh man. Actually, I'm really excited about the upcoming opening of the Alameda Comedy Club. Obviously, people can check out the feature film Thieves Code. I think that Thieves Code is in a film festival soon. It's coming up. I don't know exactly what the date is, and I guess it's like online or whatever. And then
Can you tell us more about that film?
the Thieves Code? Yeah,
Yes.
The Thieves Code is a film by Alex Power that we released it during lockdown. So it was released, I guess, maybe like 4 months ago. And it centers around Odelia San Diego is the lead. She plays a thief who's in love with a woman but has a complicated sexual, emotional relationship with her partner in crime. And so it's basically like a mob queer exploitation story set in San Francisco.
Sounds awesome.
Yeah, but I play the male lead, and honestly, like, it was fascinating just to see the making of the workings of a feature film from the inside, because I've produced a lot of short film projects and stuff, but it really is such a marathon to try to carry a project that large, and it just requires so much collaboration. It was really
It does. It's amazing.
fascinating. Yeah.
But your film is coming up that you're working on.
Cinder 2, we're going to start shooting. We're in pre-production right now. I'm working with Lauren Black. She's going to do some of the character work. And I kind of want to build on some of these ideas of character disambiguation. I saw, like, Charlie Kaufman just released his new Netflix film, and he played with some of the continuity errors of character and the duality of character, where, like, you have actor, you have the character, and then like there's shades in between. I've always
Breaking the fourth wall.
well, sort of. No, I mean it's more like dismantling the foundation almost, because I had this idea when I was a kid a long time ago, thinking about films because I loved film, but I wanted to think about it like making them, because as a child it's like where do I go? Like someone takes me to a play, that's great, but it's like how do I get in? And I would try to ask the actors and be like, well, you have to come to an audition. And
They're
I'd talk
not
to my
gonna
mother
tell you.
and I'm like, no, they do. They would be like, you have to come to an audition. And I'm like, Mom, I have to come to an audition. And my mom's like, go to school. So like, I can't. But so I just thought, I always heard stories like, oh, what if this actor played this role instead of this other actor? Like, what would that have been like? This director was supposed to do it. And so I want to play with those ideas of like separating character from production and trying to play with that space a little bit.
Dope. If you could tell the future, what would you say about 5 years from now in America? Dun, dun, dun.
Honestly, my predictions have been scarily accurate. If you really want to go back through the social media for like 5 to 10 years, it's horribly upsetting how close I am sometimes. What I really believe, I think that first of all, we got to protect AOC, keep her safe. I think that what we're experiencing right now, as difficult, tumultuous, violent, scary as it can be or might be, I think it's like a necessary reckoning with truths that people were not willing to face. And now, I mean, there's some things that I've been saying, but I know other people have been saying for like a long time, where it's like people thought, oh, you sound crazy. You sound fucking crazy. In 2005, talking about the rise of fascism, people are like, what are you talking about? And so, like, I think that now there is something of a having to acknowledge and make choices regarding some of the infrastructural problems, and that doesn't seem like a bad thing to me.
Not at all. It's all about not being comfortable anymore. Well, thank you for
Thank you.
coming on the show, and good set.
All right.